Okay, so the only thing you need to copy down in your notes is this part right here. While you copy that down, it's just the title of this lesson. We talked about yesterday that we were doing the percent proportion yesterday, and today we're doing the percent equation. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the words is, of, and the percent symbol and what they meant. They mean something a little bit different with the equations. So copy this down, press pause. Okay, so the word is in this case in the equation means equal, and the word of means multiply. What you're going to do when you write these equations is you're just going to go left to right and read it and write down what you see. The other key thing here is whenever you have a percent, you need to change it into a decimal. So for example, if you have 42%, that needs to be changed into 0.42 before you put it into an equation. Okay, go ahead and pause it and write this down. Alright, so you are going to read left to right. So first it says what number. So it'll say what number, it'll say what, it'll be say find, something like that. We know that just means X or Y or whatever variable we decide to use. Then we have the word is. On the last slide we saw that is meant equals. So you're just going to write an equal sign instead of the word is. Then we have 12%, and we said we know in an equation 12% has to be written as a decimal. So 12% as a decimal is 0.12. So that's what we write here. We said the word of means to multiply. So instead of the word of, you're going to write a multiplication dot. And the last piece here is the number 150. So we can just write 150. Now you can see that there's just one big equation here, and we need to simplify it. So it says x equals 12 hundredths, or 0.12 times 150. So on your calculator, take 0.12 times 150. Your answer is 18. That's supposed to be an 8. That does not look very good. Now if we solve this using the percent proportion like we did yesterday, we would have set it up like this. Okay, and we would have gotten the exact same thing because this would have been 12 times 150 is 1800. We had divided both sides by 800, we still would have gotten 18. So it's just another way to do it. Let's try another. Okay, let's do this one together. So we have what is. So what is again just an X. The word is means equal. 6% needs to be written as a decimal, which we know is 0.06. Of means multiplication. And 19, we just write as 19. Again, use your calculator to do 0.06 times 19, and we get 1.14. And your assignments data say round to the nearest tenth again, so why don't we just do, you get 1.14, so let's simplify that to 1.1. Again, if you use the percent proportion like yesterday, you get the exact same thing. Alright, now I want you to try these two by yourself, so I'm going to have Mrs. Meyer pause it while you try these. Okay, so write each of these out separately. So we have the word what, that can just be an X. We have the word is, we know that's equal. 72% would be the same thing as 0.72. Then we have of, which is multiply. And then we have 90, just write 90. We go ahead and just calculate this side. So we get 0.72 times 90. So your answer for this one would have been 64.8. Down here it says 80%, so we write 80% as our decimal. Remember, you just read left to right. The word of means to multiply. We just write 12 as it is. Then we have is, which means equal, so we just write an equal sign. And then we have the word what, so that's just our X. So again, we just need to calculate this side. So we have 0.8 times 12. So you should get 9.6 for the second one. Alright, so now that was finding the part. Now we're going to find the whole, but you do the exact same thing. You just go left to right, solve it, and go. So we have the number 13, so we just write 13. The word is means equals. 26% as a decimal is 0.26. Of means to multiply. And what number would be x? Now in this case, you always want to solve for x. That's what we did in our last one, so we do on these two. So we need x all by itself, so we need to get rid of this piece right here. Well, how do we get rid of that piece? Right now it's 0.26 times x, so we need to divide both sides by 0.26. So you're taking 13 divided by 0.26. So our answer is 50. Again, if you wanted to use a percent proportion, you did the exact same thing. We'd put 13 over x equals 26 over 100. We get 1300 equals 26x. We divide by 26 and we'd still get 50. Okay? Okay, I want you to try these two on your own, so I'll have Mrs. Meyer pause it while you try, and then she'll press play when everybody's ready. Alright, so here we go. So first we have 39, so I'm going to write 39. The word is means equals. 84% would be 0.84. Of means multiply. And what number would just be x? Again, we want to get x all by itself. So we can solve for that piece. So we need to divide both sides by 0.84. So 39 divided by 0.84 gives you a big number, so we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so 46.4. Alright, the second one. We're going to write 60%, so as a decimal it's 0.6. And then we have of, which is multiply. We have what number, which would be x. Is the equal sign. And 80 we just write as 80. Again, we want to get x all by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 0.6 because right now it's multiplied. So we take 80 divided by 0.6 and we get 133.3 if you're rounding the nearest tenth. Alright. Okay, now this time we're finding the percent. Again, you just read left to right. So let's do this. 21, so we write 21. Is, so equals. What percent would be x? Of means multiplication. 40, we just write the number 40. Again here, our goal is to get x all by itself. So right now it's multiplied by 40, so we need to divide by 40 on both sides. So now we take 21 divided by 40. Now, these are a little different because in our equation we're getting this right now for x, right? But we know right now we're trying to find the percent. And when we put percents into equations, we had to change it to a decimal. So now, because it's a decimal, we had to change it back into a percent. So if you remember how we do that, we have our decimal point, we move it 2 spots to the right. Do our mustache. So 52.5% would be your answer. Again, if we wanted to check this with the percent proportion, you'd have 21 over 40 equals x over 100. We'd get 2100 equals 40x. And if you take 2100 and divide it by 40, you'd get 52.5. Let's try this one together. So 35 is equals, what percent would just be x? Of means to multiply. And 70, we just write as 70. Again, we need to get x by itself, and it's multiplied, so we divide both sides by 70. So 35 divided by 70 is 0.5. But because it was changed to a decimal in the equation, it needs to be changed back to a percent. So we move it 2 spots to the right. We fill in a 0 for the missing piece. So your answer would be 50%. Okay, I'm going to have Mrs. Meyer pause it while you try these two on your own. Alright, so left to right. So we have 27 is equals. What percent would just be x of multiplication? 150, just write 150. We need to divide both sides by 150 so that x is by itself. So we're taking 27 divided by 150, and we get 0.18, but we need to change that into a percent, so we get 18%. Second one, we have what percent, so that's x. Of means multiply. 75, we can just write 75. Is means equals. And let's see, 30, we just write as 30. So if we solve this one, we want to get x by itself, so we need to divide both sides by 75. If we divide 30 by 75, we get 0.4. And if we make that a percent, we move it over 2 spaces, so we get 40%. Now on your assignment, they're going to be all mixed up like this. So Mrs. Meyer is going to pause it. You're going to try all 3 of these. Try setting them up, do your very best, and then she'll play it so we can go through it. Alright, here we go. So, what number would be x? Is equals 85%. Remember, going into the equation when you change it to a decimal. The word of means multiply. 300, 300. Okay, I'm going to set all these up and then we'll go through and solve them. Middle one, what percent? That would just be x. Of means multiply. 150, just write 150. Is means equals. And 65 would just be 65. Bottom one here, we have 5. Is means equals. 12%, remember it has to be a decimal in an equation, so we do 0.12. Of means multiply. And what number would just be x. Now if we go through and solve these all, this one, x is already by itself, so all you have to do is multiply this side of the equation. So we're going to take 0.85 times 300. So the first one you should have gotten 255. The middle one, x has something next to it, so we need to get rid of that. So we divide both sides by 150. So we're taking 65 divided by 150, and we get this number, and it keeps repeating. We need to change it back into a percent, so we move it over 2 spaces, so 43.3%. And the last one, we need x by itself, so we divide both sides by 0.12. So 5 divided by 0.12 is 41.7 once you round. Doesn't look like a very good 41. Alright, here is your assignment for today. It's a worksheet. They're on the front table. Mrs. Meyer will pass those out to you. You have to show setup. You have to show me your equation, or I will not count it done. Okay, IXL's due Sunday. You have a quiz next Wednesday coming up here. Chapter 7 test is the Thursday after. Your retake, I'm going to have those packets for you soon. That'll be due a couple weeks from now, end of the 3rd quarter. All right.